Hi friends, today I am going to explain the classical theory of output, income and employment. Part 2. The previous video or previous class we discussed classical theory of output, income and employment assumptions. And even also I told there are mainly four components of classical theory. The one is says market law, the second one is wage price flexibility, third one is interest rate flexibility, fourth one is money market equilibrium. The first component is says law market. Says law of market is one of the most important ideas in classical economics. It was introduced by J.B. Say. And J.B. says that supply creates its own demand. How? We have to think logically. As per the classical economist, that production creates income and that income creates or generates demand for goods and services in the economy. So same thing, supply creates its own demand in there. In the economy, there are mainly four inputs. Production inputs: land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. These four inputs will get the income in the form of, for example, land will get the rent, labor will get the wage, capital will get the interest rate, same entrepreneur will get the profit. So these four inputs get the income. When these inputs involve in the production, create the income, and then that income creates the demand for the goods and services. This is the classical thought. This is the way of the creating the full employment in the economy. How that supply creates its own demand. How that supply production process will contribute to the creating the employment, mainly full employment in the economy. So JB says law of market, based on some assumptions, it has been formulated. What are that assumptions? What are that assumptions? One is production creates market demand for goods. No overproduction. Second one is there is no overproduction. How much supply is there? Same amount of the demand will create. There is no any overproduction. And money is neutral. And automatic adjustment of full employment. So these are the main assumptions already we discussed in the first video of this theory. So this is the classical economist main thought is, in the economy supply creates its own demand. Okay, first production will start. That production create the income, and then income create the demand for the goods and services. Okay, and next point is wage price flexibility. The second component is wage price flexibility. What wage price flexibility means? Wage means labor wages. through the increasing or decreasing the labor wages can be create the equilibrium or employment level, full employment level, as per the classical economist thought. Suppose in case any unemployment in the economy, so reducing the wages or cutting wages, it will leads cost of production reduce. Once cut the wage rates and cost of production will be reduced. Once cost of production reduce, prices also reduce. Goods and services price reduce. And then demand increase. It is a common way. Once price of goods and services uh, decreases and demand for goods and service will be increase. Then once demand increase and production increase, okay, production increase, then producer wants to hire more workers and then employment increase. Then employment increase, it will leads to creating the full employment in the economy. So this is the one chain. This chain will occur in the economy. Suppose if any there is unemployment in the economy, so cutting the wage rate, by cutting the wage rate, so this chain will be occur in the economy for creating the full employment as per the classical economist. See, here is a diagram presents how that wages through decreasing and increasing the through wage rates and demand and supply of the labor, how it will be fluctuate. It will present here, and OX horizontal axis present the labor demand and supply, and OY axis present the wages of the labor. So in common OA level of the wage rates, and it is the equilibrium point where that supply equal to demand. In this point, equilibrium point is there. Suppose wages are increased from A to B point, wage rate very high. In that wage rate, that is the supply, labor supply is more than demand. That is a common. When wage rates very high, that the labor supply is higher than labor demand. And in this situation, wage rate will be reduced, wage rate will be cut, then supply will be reduced, and demand will increase, and it will come to the equilibrium point. This is the full employment level. Same thing in case if any lower wage rate. In the case lower wage rate, OW level of the wage rate is, we can see in the lower wage rate is supply is more than demand of the labor, then wage rate will be increase, then supply will be increase and demand will be reduce. So this is the through the cutting the wage rate or increasing the wage rate and create the equilibrium point at full employment level. Same in this is the cutting the wage rate is in the labor market. Same thing in case price increasing or decreasing in the goods market or product market, it will be created through the cutting wage rates or flexible in the wages and prices. in the product market, full employment will be created in the long run in the economy. This is the classical economist thing. The next point, interest rate flexibility. Interest rate flexibility. Here also, through the increasing and decreasing the interest rate and saving and investment will be equilibrium. It will create the equilibrium saving investment in the economy. The interest rate automatically adjusts savings and investment in the economy. Saving equal to investment. Here we can see in the diagram, and OX axis present the saving and investment, and OY vertical axis present the interest rate. So whenever the higher interest rate, this is the equilibrium point level, and suppose OA level of interest rate is there, saving equal to investment. This is the saving equal to investment. Okay, this point. If any interest rate is or higher from OA to the OB level higher the interest rate, and saving is higher than the investment. Okay, here we can understand one thing is there is inverse relationship between interest rate and investment. When higher the interest rate and investment level is low, because the loan is costlier, no? When interest rate is higher, the loan is costlier in the bank. The people not desire or not wants to take loan from the bank because at the higher interest rate. Instead of loan, they will save the money, they will put money in the bank in the when interest rate is higher. But a positive relationship between interest rate and saving. When higher the interest rate, saving also increase. In this case, suppose in the higher interest rate, saving is more than the investment. For create the and decrease the interest rate. Once decrease the interest rate, and saving equal to investment will be created, and saving will be reduced, investment will be increase when interest rate reduced. And same thing in case at the lower interest rate, OC level. In the OC level of the lower interest rate is there, in this case saving is less than investment. Of course, that is whenever interest rate is low in the bank, we don't want to put our money in the bank, isn't it? Because interest rate is very low, people wants to hold cash in their hand for the business purpose or any other investment purpose, because interest rate is very low. In this case, investment is higher than the saving. Then create for increasing the interest rate, and it will create the saving equal to investment equilibrium point. In this point, and the full employment will be determined as per the classical economist. And next point is money market equilibrium. Money market equilibrium. The quantity theory of money, the classical economist. It's a very important concept in the macroeconomics. Okay. In the quantity theory of money, or as per the classical economist, the quantity of demand or demand for money equal to supply of money. Means demand for money is equal to supply of money, as per the classical economist say. They will say that. What is the demand for money? What is the demand for money? So demand for money means the people wants to hold cash for transaction purpose, or precautionary purpose, or speculative purpose. This is the demand for money. What is the supply of money? Whatever existing in the economy, money, whatever money existing in the economy, that is the called as supply of money. So as per the classical economics, demand for money equal to supply of money in the economy. So we can remember this equation, MV equal to PT. You know this equation is given by the Irving Fisher. So what is MV and what is the PT? So M present money supply. So we present that velocity of money. What is velocity of money? Velocity of money is it means how many times a unit of money circulate from the one person to another person. For example, I have 10 rupees. I want to buy one biscuit bundle, 10 rupees biscuit bundle, and I will buy and give the 10 rupees to the shopkeeper. And shopkeeper will circulate money that 10 rupees to the other person or any other. So this money, particular unit of money, how many times circulate from one person to another person? This is the velocity of money. So P is the price. P present the price, and T present the transaction of goods and services. Okay, but as per the classical economist, V and T are the constant. V and T, velocity of money and transaction of goods and services, constant. Only supply of money equal to the price. Supply of money equal to the price. It means that whenever supply of money increase, prices also increase. There is positive relationship between the supply of money and price level. So once supply of money increase in the economy, prices also increase, but value of money is decrease. So mainly this diagram present how that prices, how that supply of money influence on the price, not on the output. Another point is, as per the classical economist, the supply of money will influence on only price level, not an output level. Here we can see in the diagram, OX axis present the price level and OY axis present the output level. Suppose that this OT level is the output. This is the OT is the output curve. It is a constant. It is a constant. Output is the constant. Suppose if any supply of money increase from the MS to MS1, prices are increased from the OE to OE1. If supply of money increase, prices also increase, but output is the constant. Output is the constant. It means the supply of money influence on prices, not on the output. So these are the main components of the classical theory. One is says market law, second one is wage price flexibility and interest rate flexibility and money market equilibrium. Through these components and output, income and employment determine in the economy as per the classical economist. I hope you understood. In the next video, we can discuss about what are criticisms of the classical theory. Keynes and others uh, criticized this classical theory. So we can discuss in the next video. So thank you very much.